Patrick Tucker is the technology editor at defense1.com, a website that provides news on US national security. Patrick is joining us from Washington. Patrick, they say that it was a video message from the Crown Prince. How could the UN know for sure that it was a video message, and in particular from him?
Well, that's one of the questions that I think folks are going to be asking. Looking at this report from the UN, it matches a lot of other reporting that has come out on this. It's really a summation. There is, among the cybersecurity community that I've spoken to, very high confidence that this hack was perpetrated by a group called the NSO Group. They're basically cybersecurity contractors that were working under a contract from the Saudi Arabian government. But the actual how, the forensic evidence directly tying one specific tweet or one specific message directly to this exfiltration of Jeff Bezos' personal data, that's something that's a little bit trickier to assess. FTI, which is the forensic analysis group that first looked at this, there's been some questions about whether or not they've presented enough evidence about exactly the methodology. But again, the consensus among the cybersecurity community is definitely that this was NSO Group using a type of malware called Pegasus that allows for the exfiltration of data, even when between two recipients, even when one is using encrypted messaging, which was the case here, Jeff Bezos using WhatsApp, an encrypted end-to-end messaging service.
Just to be fair to the NSO Group, they've made a statement saying its technology was not used in this instance and saying its technology cannot be used on US phone numbers, and any suggestion otherwise was defamatory, and it's in fact threatening legal action. Is that statement, how does that bear up? Cannot be used on US phones?
Well, NSO Group is going to have a wonderful opportunity to present all of their evidence and even offer discovery evidence if they choose to go to Northern California, where they have been sued by WhatsApp. And there is a court date that is set for February 13th. So they can go ahead and respond to that court date and then present their own evidence and also offer discovery evidence if they actually have a problem there with that conclusion. This is something that is pretty well known among the cybersecurity community. And if you look at that UN report, the key to it is that it cites a lot of different examples of particularly the Saudi Arabian government using NSO Group software to dissidents in Saudi Arabia and outside of Saudi Arabia exactly what they did to Jeff Bezos. There is a lot of accusations of targeting particularly Saudi Arabian human rights dissidents, stealing their information and then using that as a means to target them for harassment. And that's part of why one of the UN special rapporteurs who signed on to that report yesterday is the rapporteur that looks at extrajudicial killing, because this particular tactic, the stealing of information from cell phones, the use of it in this tactical way, there's belief that that played a role in the Jamal Khashoggi assassination. So there is a lot of different examples of the Saudi Arabian government using this against dissidents, and there's a lot of record of that.
Patrick, a lot of people will think if Jeff Bezos can't spot a sinister message, then what hope is there for the rest of us? How do you spot such a malware message?
Well, it becomes ever more difficult to do. At the same time, Jeff Bezos was using an encrypted end-to-end messaging app, which would have kept his email safe from sort of clumsy outside attacks. He was vulnerable to an attack from a known source, from someone that he basically let into the house. It's sort of like that old folktale about vampires. If you invite them in, then you're helpless to defend against them. And end-to-end encrypted messaging works the same way. So what can happen is if there is an effort to encrypt backup files on a cloud server that you have perhaps stored to iCloud, encrypted files on your device, and end-to-end encrypted messaging, that's going to increase your defenses a lot. But there are no perfect defenses. As this case shows, what you can do through sound cybersecurity practices is increase the level of cost and risk for the person trying to steal your email. And then hopefully, if you actually are attacked, as was the case here, you'll have a better chance of knowing exactly who and what was stolen faster. And so really that's the best you can hope for. But this sort of thing. It's proven very lucrative in this case, and this is the trend for the future, not even for Jeff Bezos, but really for the rest of us.
Patrick Tucker in Washington, thank you.